Yeah, welcome to the session, guys. Today, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. This is Shweta, guys. I'm going to take a verbal session, and I've been teaching this particular CAT course for last 10 years, right? So my main forte is CAT, and let's get started. And today's your introductory session of reading comprehension. So when it comes to reading comprehension, the question is that why they are testing on us on reading comprehension. If you see the format of RC, guys, they give you a passage, right, which are followed by questions, and which are followed by options. 4 options they give you. So as you know, there is in CAT exam, you have the first section is VARC, and you're getting 24 questions of RC, right? Sorry, total 24 questions, and out of 24 questions, you're getting 16 questions from RC. So we have a huge number of questions from RC. So definitely we should have we have to do well in RC because it's a survivor. There is no substitute to do that. So this is something, the scenario of CAT exam. 16 questions from RC and then 8 questions from VA part. So more number of questions from RC we have. So definitely it is a survivor. We cannot skip this particular part. And we were discussing when it comes to reading comprehension, they give you a passage and followed by options, and answers are already given to you in the passage. It's not like you have to learn the answers or require some previous knowledge. Answers already given to you. So the question arises why they are testing us on RC if answers are already given in the passage. What do you think, guys? Why they're testing us on RC, reading comprehension? I would like to know from you. Yes. They want to test our comprehension skills, guys. It's not about only reading, it's about comprehend the paragraph properly. So they want to test our comprehension skills. That's why they are testing us on reading comprehension. Before we proceed further, when it comes to RC, it's called as a zone of uncertainty. Why it is called as zone of uncertainty? The 2 reasons we have. The one reason is that no 2 people have read the same text. If I give you the same passage and you're supposed to work upon this passage, you will mark a different answers. Why we are marking a different answer though the passage is completely same? Because you have read something in a different way. Someone is reading in a different way. He is interpreting in a different way, and someone else is reading in a different way. Yeah, Prakhar, I have started just now only. Yeah, 2 minutes back we have started. Some will understand in a different way. And though we have read the same text, but we are understanding the passage in a different way. So that's why it's a call. One reason is that it's a zone of uncertainty. So it's like if there are 10 students and there are 10 different passages. That's why they're marking different answers. The second reason is no one has read the same text twice. If you do passage, if you're talking about, guys, when the CAT was pen paper based test, right? At that time, what used to happen, so you were supposed to get your booklet with you on the day of exam. So next morning or next day, students used to do that particular handout once more. That was a CAT original paper. So when they used to do RCs again, they generally found the different answers. The reason being that when they read passages second time, right, you get some different information. You get to know something different, right? And that's why when we say no one has read the same text twice, if I'm doing passage, right, I mark the answers. If I do the same passage second time, I will find different information. I will find different text. I will find different ideas of the author, and I will mark different answers. So these are the 2 reasons, because if we don't have good reading skills, I will discuss what are reading skills. If we don't have good reading skills, what will happen? We will be marking different answers at different times. So as of now, so vocabulary. The first of all, if I tell you CAT doesn't give you much difficult vocabulary. But yes, we have to work upon vocabulary because there are certain words which are absolutely new. And if you don't know if I'm talking about last year CAT exam, specifically the morning slot, there was a passage which is something related to utopia. The full passage is upon utopia. Now, definitely, if I don't know the exact meaning of utopia, I will take a lot of time, and I may not be able to understand the passage. So yes, we have to work upon vocabulary. So that will discuss at how to work upon vocabulary apart from the classes, and interpretation also will discuss how we're going to overcome this particular idea, that how we're going to understand the passages. So when it comes to reading comprehension, guys, there are a few things that we need to work upon, because it's that are the base of the reading comprehension. So please, you're going to write it down along with me. So we are going to discuss these few things. The first thing, we're going to discuss reading skills. We'll discuss everything in detail about reading skills. Second, we are going to discuss selection of passage. Right? The third thing, we'll discuss reading methods in detail. The fourth thing, we will discuss underlining. I know it's a computer-based test, it's an online test, how it comes to underlining. We'll discuss this bit later. And the fifth one, we're going to discuss types of questions. So this is a foundation of RC. This is a foundation of RC. We have to discuss all these 5 points to do well in RC, right? So let's get started with the reading skills, guys. Very, very important point. Many people, they say that we have to enhance our reading skills. His reading skills are really good. What is the exact definition of reading skills? So exact definition of reading skills, guys. The first thing, you are comfortable with different topics. You are comfortable with different topics. The first thing, you are comfortable with different styles of writing. I would suggest, guys, please make a note of all this, because you won't be able to remember all these things. You really need to recollect. You need to read this thing to recollect. And the third thing, one-time reading. These are the three things. So when it comes to reading skills, you should be comfortable with the different topics. As you know, guys, they are not going to give you only one topic. They will ask you questions from the variety of topics: economics, financial, science, technology, philosophical, psychology, spirituality. So there is a wide range of topics that you're going to get it. If you are a commerce student, you can easily understand the passages related to economics, like monetary policy, fiscal. You can easily understand it. If I'm talking about science students, they may take some more time to understand those passages, right? If it is a technology related topic, science related topics, I think science students, they can understand those passages quickly as compared to commerce or art students, isn't it? So definitely we can't go behind that. So we have to be comfortable with all the topics. Even if you're a science student, you should be comfortable with economic topics, financial topics, right? Psychological. Even if you're a commerce student, you should be comfortable with the science topics. I'm not doing that you have to do mastery upon those topics. No, but you should be comfortable with those topics. Right? If they give you a topic, you should be able to understand those topics. It should not have a feeling of, I'm not able to understand that. And second thing, you should be comfortable with the different styles of writing. What does it mean, basically? If I ask you to write an essay upon an article, if I give you a topic, all of you will write in a different way, isn't it? Some will write in a positive way, some will write in a negative, some writer, he may add some humorous, right? Some may write in a very critical way. Some may write in a combination of positive and negative. So these are various styles of writing, isn't it? So we have to read the topics of variety of authors, not only single author. We can't follow. We need a lot of authors, right? And one-time reading should be enough. If I have a feeling that I need to read it second time, I need to read it third time, it shows that we need to really work upon our reading skills, right? So how we're going to get it, that how we're going to get comfortable with the different topics, how we're going to get different styles of writing. So for that, guys, we need to get into a skills development exercise. We need to get into a skills development exercise. In that exercise, we need to read lead article of the newspaper. Now, what exactly is lead article, guys? In the newspaper, there is an editorial page. I'm sure you know about that, right? So there is an editorial page. On the very left-hand side, there is a small article which is written by the editor of the newspaper. If I'm talking about this article, what are the pros and cons of this article? The pros is that on a daily basis, you will find the different topics, right? As you know, we have to get familiar with the different topics. But because it is written by the same writer, when you read this article for 7 to 8 days, after that, this article will no more challenging for you. It will be very predictable for you. The reason being that because you get to know in these 7 to 8 days the perspective of the editor, right? And later on, you can definitely predict that what author is going to say further, because you get to know the mind of editor, of the same writer. So not this article, because you will not be able to get familiar with the different styles of writing. We are going to read the next article over here. On the right hand side, there's a big article which is given to you. This article is called as a lead article of the newspaper. On the they give you a picture also of the writer. So this article is lead article, the main article of the newspaper. We have to read this article on a daily basis. You will find on a daily basis different topics. You will find different styles of writing. So this article we have to read. So this is something about I answer the question, what to read to develop, to enhance our reading skills. The second thing is that how to read. There's a strategy to read. Till now, guys, we were engaged into a casual style of reading. Casual style of reading means you open the newspaper, you just read it, and you get to know what author is trying to say. Not that way. We need to get into the skin of writer. We need to read it. We need to read this article around 2,000 words. After reading this article, you have to assign yourself a task. You have to write a summary. If you remember, we used to write a summary in our school days also. Summary means the main idea of the author. When it comes to an article, this article may contain, like for example, 10 to 12 main points the author wants to convey, and rest of the sentences are explanations, supporting points, examples, right? So that are the rest of the paragraphs. You need to get all those main points. Now, will you be able to write the summary after reading all the article? No, that's not possible, because by the time you will read these around 2,000 words, you may forget one or two main points. So then that summary will not be complete. So how we're going to do? We're going to read it, guys, para-wise. We're going to read it para-wise. Like you read first paragraph, right? You will read first paragraph. Then you will think about that paragraph, what is the main idea author wants to convey. Then you're going to write a one-line summary, or you can make a bullet point. It's not like you really need to write a one-line summary. You can also make a bullet point at what is the main idea author wanted to convey. And then you move to the second paragraph. Same way you're going to do it. And this way you're going to try to connect between this, what is the connection between the first and second paragraph, second and third paragraph. Important thing, shortcut technique, please make a note of that. Give a lot of importance to the first sentence of every paragraph. First sentence of every paragraph will give you the details, will give you an idea at what author is going to say further. So try to anticipate also that the moment you read the first line of every paragraph, try to anticipate what author may say further in this particular paragraph. It will really enhance your the mind, the reading skills. Right? So try to anticipate that. It's the same like when you see the movie. Movie is nothing but it's a visualization. They have just converted the scripture of 500 to maybe 1,000 pages into a movie. And whenever you see a movie, you always, try to anticipate, okay, this is something is going to happen in the next scene or something like this way. This you have to apply in your reading this thing. So this is something how to read, and you have to read it on a regular basis. Now, do you have the reading habit, guys? How many of you read on a regular basis? Could you tell me, please? Yes. How many of you read on a regular basis, guys? Okay, so Prakhar, you read on a daily basis. What do you read? What do you read? And how about others? Newspaper. Okay, Ananya, you read newspaper or you read small articles? Okay, great, great. See, guys, if you have reading habit or if you have uh, reading habit, okay, animation, newspaper, and Google articles. Great, great, great. So three students are telling me they have this reading habit and they're reading very good thing that you're reading newspaper and all. Great. Okay, that's great, Priya. You're reading different novels. Okay. Okay. So if you have reading habits, right, you will take, guys, less time in reading this lead article. You will take, I believe, that 10 to 20 minutes, right? Or maybe 30 minutes, depending upon your familiarity with the topic, right? If you're not familiar with the topic, you may take more time. If you're familiar with the topic, you will take less time. And the second thing, if you don't have reading habit at all, like 3 4 students, they didn't answer me that they read on a regular basis. Guys, if you don't have reading habit, you may take in fact 30 minutes, you may take even 1 hour, and some students they may take 1.5 hours, depending upon the reading skills, depending upon your reading habit, right? So initially, guys, for 10 days, please don't focus upon time. You have to focus upon accuracy rate. There are two things when it comes to RCs, two things. One is accuracy, and the second thing is speed, right? We need to first focus upon accuracy. Accuracy means you're able to understand the article. Once your accuracy will improve, your speed will automatically improve. So please give me 10 days. Don't focus upon speed, focus upon accuracy. While reading the lead article, you will find a lot of words which you don't know the meaning. Now, guys, you need to enhance your vocabulary also to do well in RC. This is something you know, right? So we will do the vocabulary in the class also. But apart from class, what do you need to do when you are reading anything like you're reading lead article? Please keep one small diary with you. Keep one vocabulary notebook, diary, whatever the comfortable with you. And just if I found a new word, for example, if I taking about, for example, I found the word utopia. I don't know the meaning of utopia. First of all, I will try to get the meaning of this word as per the context, right? Then I will Google the meaning. You will see the meaning into dictionary or Google it and write it down in your diary. Just mention the meaning of utopia, just one line, just one word. That's it. So why I'm telling you, because at the end of the week, at least once in a week, you can revise all those words, right? So it will really going to enhance your vocabulary. Like many of you face a problem vocabulary. This is something, the way to enhance the vocabulary. It sounds like very tedious task, but believe me, it will not take much more time. And to revise it, you will take hardly 10 to 15 minutes. And it really works. Right. So we have understood, guys, what to read and how to read. Now, if many of you, like, you don't have reading habit at all, then you can start with those articles that you really find interesting. For example, you really have interest in sports. Then you can open the sports page and you can start reading those articles for 2 to 3 days. And then you move to the lead article. And again, if you feel this article is pretty big for you and you're not able to do that, then for a few days, what you can do, you can read for 5 paragraphs. You can read like 5 paragraphs. And then you can move to, you can increase the number of paragraphs gradually. Like in 15 days, you should be able to read the entire article. So you can do like this way. I'm not saying, like, if you have reading habit 0, you can start with the 5 paragraphs, or you can start with something that you really find interesting. Right. So this is something, what to read and how to read. Like Prakar, you're telling me that someone tell to read Aeon. That yes, Aeon is also good. So apart from newspaper, guys, you can read magazines. Frontline magazine, you have Aeon. You can read that also to enhance your reading skills. But this lead article, you have to read on a daily basis. For 10 days, you have to definitely read. And if you ask me, is there any substitute to reading? There is no substitute to reading. Have you ever seen a chef? How he cuts vegetable? He cuts vegetable pretty fast, and if you see the symmetry of those whatever the veggies or fruits is cutting is the same. Can we cut the vegetables like chef? No, you know this thing, right? Because it needs a lot of practice. How come he can cut? Is he magician? No, it needs a lot of practice. right? Same as with the reading. It needs a lot of practice, and you have to read a wide range of topics, not only to one topic, not only to one writer, wide range of topics. So this is something, the foundation of your reading comprehension. That is, we need to enhance our reading skills. Now let's move to the second thing, selection of passages. Guys, as you know, in CAT, we're getting right now, what is the current pattern they're following? They are asking us 4 passages, right? You're already aware about that. And it's your first section. You know this thing. The first section is your VARC, then DILR, and then quantitative aptitude. So beginning should be really well, right? Otherwise, what will happen? You may get disheartened or demotivated. So we have to select the passages wisely. What do you think, guys? How we're going to select the passage? Is there any criteria to select the passages, or we have to select the passages randomly? Is there any criteria, guys? So there is a criteria to select the passages. What is the criteria? We are going to select the passages based upon the topic, the familiarity with the topic, right? The first one is that, one is simple to understand. So any topic which is related to your profession, subject knowledge. Like if you're a science student, you will pick up those related to passages related to science. If you're a commerce student, you're going to pick up the passages related to economics and all. If you are art student, you're going to pick up those passages which are related to art. So based upon your subject knowledge, you're going to pick up those passages first. Second, apart from subject knowledge, you may have some interest in other topics. For example, you may have interest in something, stock market. You must be aware with the jargons of those stock market. You must, if you have interest in sports, you may have interest. So you're going to pick up those passages which are related to sports first. So apart from subject knowledge, your interest, affinity, right? The rest of the passages, I put them into difficult topics. And under difficult topics, there are 2 types of topics. One, that is mundane topics. What are mundane topics? One is mundane topics, and another one is abstract topics. Mundane topics are those topics, guys, they're daily routine topics, like what is happening, what is going on right now. For example, demonetization, climate change, global warming, Ukraine-Syria war. Something is going on in the present, and you're already aware about it. So that will be the third criteria, that if we're going to mundane topics. And the last criteria would be abstract topics. Abstract topics are those topics where we don't have any tangible proof. We don't have any tangible proof, like it's related to something psychology, something philosophical passages, spiritual, something related to spirituality, right? So, for example, they ask you a question. Those passages are really interesting. You will, when you read them, you will find them interesting. When it comes to questions, they're very tricky to answer. For example, if they're asking you a question like, whether God exists or not. Now, do you really think the answer to this question exactly given in the passage? No, right? So that's why we keep them at last. But yes, if you think, like many students tell me that we will leave abstract topics, please don't do that. Now, please add one more thing. What you need to do, at least once in a week, you have to read one abstract topic. You can take it from Hindu, that is Oasis. You can take it from Times of India, that is, if you have seen on the editorial page, there is a speaking tree. Right? So please read once in a week something abstract topic. We cannot leave abstract topics, because if I'm talking about CAT 2005, in CAT 2005, there were 5 passages. And can you guess all those 5 passages upon which topic? All those 5 passages, yes, your guess is right. All those 5 passages is on abstract topic, that is the philosophical topics. So many students, they tell me that we can leave abstract topic. No, you don't, you never know. You know this thing, CAT is always unpredictable, right? So in 2005, we can see they're given all 5 passages were based upon philosophical topics. So we need to understand abstract topics as well, right? This is a criteria to select the passages, which is really crucial. Now, my question is for you guys. Can I select the passage based upon the size? Do you think? Should we select the passage based upon size? Anyone would like to tell me something? You can unmute yourself and let me know. Animesh, you're saying.
We can choose the short.
Sorry?
We can choose the shorter passages first.
A bit louder, Priya. I'm sorry. Sorry, Priyajit. Yeah.
We can choose.
We can choose.
Shorter passages first.
Okay. Okay. Now, guys, I would like to tell you this one. In 1 year, what happened? There was it's pretty old when it was a pen paper based test. I don't remember the exact year. There were two passages. One, the very small, like this way, and the one was pretty big, like this way. Seriously, it was like this way. And definitely, 80% of the students definitely grabbed this passage without even reading the topic. What is the topic? Without even getting to know what is the topic. So they immediately started with this particular passage. Now, when they started this particular passage, it was really difficult to, comprehend. The topic was, the sentences were so complicated. On the top of that, the questions were really difficult, right? And definitely what we do, at least we try to, we will try to, once we select the passage, we try to understand the passage, right? We don't leave the passage immediately. Oh, it's difficult to understand. Once we select the passage, we at least try to understand it for 3 to 5 minutes. After that, we leave it. Now, when they moved to the bigger passage, it was really, really easy to understand. Sentences were simple, no difficult vocabulary. On the top of that, questions are also very easy to also very easy to mark it. So what I'm trying to say over here, guys, size should not be the criteria. Please, you can make a note of that. The topic will be the criteria. You don't know whether it's a difficult topic, it's an easy topic. You need to pick up those topics which are easy to understand, right? So topic will be the criteria always, not size. Right? It's a smaller passages does not give you guarantee that they are going to be easy or they're not going to be time consuming. If I give you a novel, you can read novel easily, but if I give you something, newspaper articles, and you will definitely get bored and you may take a lot of time. Right? So this is something very, very important point. So someone asked me a question once. I'll see that. Any particular magazine, newspaper we should focus on for vocabulary. If you're talking about if you have a reading habit on a regular basis, if you read on a regular basis, if I'm talking about the economics, the Hindu, right? These are some newspapers, they give you CAT vocabulary, right? So you can read those newspapers for enhanced vocabulary. But if you don't have reading habit at all, guys, start with the easiest newspaper for a few days, and then you can move to the difficult newspaper. Don't immediately start. If you don't have reading habit at all, please don't start with the Hindu. It's like, you haven't completed your graduation, you're moving to post-graduation. Because the Hindu, you will find it very difficult initially. If you have reading habit at all, then you start from the Hindu and you will find CAT level vocabulary. The Frontline magazine, Aeon, talking about economics, you will find this CAT level vocabulary. Right, so this is about selection of passages, guys. Let's move to next one, third point we are going to discuss. That is the reading methods. So what are reading methods, guys? We have the 3 reading methods. One, we have traditional method. I hope you are noting it down with me. Traditional method. In traditional method, what do? You read passage first and question second. Right? You understand the passage very well because as I told you, you have to write a summary, right? To enhance the reading skills. So when you read the passage first, you will be able to recollect what is the main idea author want to say. You'll be able to understand everything, and keeping the data in your mind, you move to the questions and try to answer those questions. It works wonderful if the passage is small. If it is around like 300 words, if the passage is small, because you can keep that much information in your mind and you can move to the questions. Regression is not allowed. Yes, for reference, you can go back to the paragraph. But if you feel that you don't remember only what you have read in the passage, that is not allowed. Obviously, we have to work upon that reading skill. Second, so this works well if you have a shorter passages. But if you have a lengthy passages, then what is the technique? Then the second reading method we have, guys, para-wise reading. So please note it down, the para-wise reading. This works wonderful if the passage is lengthy. If the passage is lengthy, then this works wonderful. In this one, what we need to do, like for example, let's imagine they have given you 4 paragraphs. Then what you're going to do, you will read first paragraph, you will understand the paragraph properly, and then you move to the questions and you try to answer the questions that are based upon the first paragraph, right? Then you read second paragraph, you understand the author's perspective, what he wants to convey, and then you move to the questions and try to answer those questions that are based upon second paragraph. And same, like you'll go proceed further, right? So this is something para-wise reading. The third technique is we have reverse reading. In reverse reading, you know this thing, questions first, passage second. Questions first and passage second. Now, if you get this reverse, like in this one, you read the questions, keywords, you keep the keywords of the questions in your mind, and then you move to the passage. You will start reading the passage from the very first line. You will skim the passage, and wherever you find the information which is related to some question, you will pause over there and you will try to find the answer. Now, in which scenario we're going to choose third method? In 2 scenarios. Guys. The first scenario is that if you are left with very short time, for example, if you're left with only 3 to 4 minutes, you have only 3 to 4 minutes are left, then you're going to follow the reverse reading because you want to make the most of those 3 to 4 minutes. Or the second circumstance, guys, if you get abstract topic, I told you abstract topic, right? In that case also, you're going to follow reverse reading because when it comes to abstract topics, they give you something, they ask you questions based upon specific things. So there is no point of reading this thing, first passage and then questions. So abstract topic works. In the case of abstract topic, reverse reading works wonderful. So you have to, guys, now experiment with all these 3 methods. I know many of you, many students, they prefer reverse reading. I know this thing. But what is the problem in the reverse reading initially? It may block your mind. First, you won't be able to answer inference-based questions that we're going to discuss. What are inference-based questions, indirect questions? Because to answer inference-based questions, you have to read the entire passage, right? Second thing is that when it comes to reverse reading, it will block your mind. You won't be able to understand the actual perspective of the author. Because when you need to answer the question, guys, you have to answer the question based upon the author's perspective, what author wants to convey, right? So you may not be able to understand the exact perspective of the author. That's why I want you to experiment with all of these 3 techniques for different passages. If it is a smaller one, you go with the traditional. If it is a lengthy, para-wise reading. And if you're left with only few minutes, you're going to follow the reverse reading. So then you will get to know that it's really working or not. Again, for 10 days, you're not going to focus upon timing. You're going to focus upon approach. You're going to focus upon approach and you're going to focus upon the accuracy rate. Right, so this is something about the reading methods. Now, Prakhar, you have a question that you always get bored in reading. Yeah, guys, if you're not familiar with the topic and if you don't like the topic, then definitely you will get bored. There is no doubt about it, but there is no choice. There is no choice. So what you need to do, you have to develop your interest in different topics. For example, if you don't have interest in economics, but you know this thing in CAT, we get passages based upon economics. So you have to develop your interest in economical topics, and then you can start reading those topics. Fine. So this is about reading methods, guys. Let's proceed further. We'll move to now the fourth thing, that is underlining. Now, when you do the passages, guys, manually, like on the hard copy on the paper, and when it used to pen paper based test, we underline important things, right? What do you underline, guys? Can you tell me that? What do you used to underline? if you are doing it on pen paper, you will underline various things, right? And those various things, it has to be very selective data. What are the important things? The important things can be, let's note it down, all proper nouns. Nouns, all proper nouns, like, name of a person, name of an organization, name of a book, name of a movie. So you can have questions based upon those proper nouns. So you have to underline all those proper nouns. Second, you have to keep the track of all data and statistics that are given by author, right? Because they ask you questions from that. The third thing, if they give you something in quotation, something is different font from the regular font. And if you're following the reverse reading, then based upon the keywords of the question. So these are the things which can be important to underline. Now, how are you going to underline because it's a computer based test. Now you have to train your mind in such a way that it should track, our mind should track all this important information without using pen paper, right? So you have to underline, you have to track this important information with your mind. So you have to train your mind in that way. Fine. Now last thing we discussed, that is the types of questions. When it comes to, guys, types of questions that we're getting in exam, that is mainly two types of questions. So we have categorized into two types of questions. One, we have data-based questions. And another one, we have inference-based questions. When it comes to database questions, they are direct questions. Answer to the particular question is given to you in the specific paragraph. Whereas inference-based questions, they are indirect questions. For example, if I'm talking about, let's take two examples of inference-based question. Like they can ask you, what is the primary purpose of the passage? Right? Now, if they ask you what is the primary purpose of the passage, give a lot of importance. What is the shortcut technique over here to answer this question? Give a lot of importance to the opening paragraph. One shortcut technique I have already told you, give a lot of importance to the first sentence of every paragraph. So this is one major question, primary purpose. They can ask you, what is the tone of the passage or the author? So tones, though we'll discuss in detail. Normally you have three tones: positive, negative, and neutral. Under positive, you have various tones. Under negative, again, you have various tones, right? So tone of the author, they may ask you. And then in that particular case, you need to focus upon the adjectives. Like if they ask you intelligent, the word stupid, these gives you tones. Intelligent is very positive, stupid is negative. So these words will really help you in identifying the tone of the author or tone of the passage. They can ask you. They can ask you what is the central theme of the passage, or they can ask you what is a suitable title of the passage. They can ask you, they can pick up, one sentence. They can pick up one sentence from the paragraph and they will give you in that quotation, and they can ask you, what can you infer from the statement? If they ask you, what can you infer from the statement, what you need to do, you need to read one line before the line and you need to read one line after the line. Nothing more, nothing less, right? It will really tell you what you can infer from this particular sentence, right? So these are few and inference-based questions. Now, if you ask me what is the trend, if you're talking about in the past, we used to get 20 to 40% database questions. No, sorry, 60 to 80% database questions, and inference-based questions, like how many? It's around 20 to 40%. Now, because the competition is getting tougher, so now it's other way around. We are getting current pattern. We are getting 20 to 40% database questions and 60 to 80% inference-based questions. So to answer inference-based questions, we need to really enhance our reading skills, right? So because it's tougher one as compared to database questions, because database questions are direct questions. You can. Now, when it comes to reverse reading also, in reverse reading, you can only answer database questions, right? So you're going to pick up database questions and you're going to answer those questions in reverse reading. So this is something about types of questions. right? So this is something we are done with the guys RC foundation, and you have to consider all these 5 points that we have discussed very carefully, right? Before you practice RCs, you have to take care of all these things in your mind. Anything else we need to discuss over here? No, not now, not now. So that is the main thing we needed to discuss, and the main thing is that reading skills, guys. As I told you, you have to read the lead article of the newspaper. Okay, so I got answers for 2 students. Prakar, you asked me in abstract topics, should I read in a reverse reading? Yes, in abstract topics, you're going to follow the reverse technique. Shivangi, your question is that how are you going to decide? Okay, so there's a question asked by Shivangi. So if they ask in options, 2 equally good options, you eliminated A easily, you eliminated B easily, you find these 2 options are equally good, how to select the options, right? If you get stuck between 2 options, there's a problem of interpretation. Then you have to pay close attention to the words, each word. If you're stuck between 2 options, then that will actually happen. That actually happens. So there is a problem of interpretation. Second thing, you have to pay attention to each and every single word of each of those 2 options, and you try to get the meaning of these 2 options. Definitely they will have a different meanings, and you will go back to the passage and you will try to figure it out what is the more closest to the author's perspective. We'll discuss now few questions. Now we're going to discuss few questions, guys. I have taken initially few questions that are first is a question, small paragraph followed by one question, to understand how we are supposed to answer the question and how we are supposed to approach the questions. So that is really going to answer those questions. Whatever you're asking me, 2 close options, vocabulary, that will really answer this question. Let's get started with the first one. Now you can see, guys, I have taken a very small paragraph and then there is a question, right? So from this one, we are going to learn a lot of things. Let's get started. We'll try first question together, then I will allow you to do first on your own. Before I proceed further, guys, as your timing is, as I told you, 6 to 7:30, but we got delayed to start the class today. So can we do it till 8 o'clock? Please let me know if you don't have any prior commitments till 8 o'clock. Okay, fine. Let's do it. It says that many working women and men are having to accept low-paid jobs, both in emerging and developing economies, and increasingly in developed countries. As I told you, guys, give a lot of importance to the first sentence of every paragraph. And I also told you, try to anticipate after reading the first sentence what author is going to say further. So he is talking about many working women and men. They have to accept low-paid jobs in any economies, whether it's emerging or developing, or and increasingly in developed countries. This is something he's talking about some problem, isn't it? Despite a drop in the number of unemployed in some EU countries and the US, too many people are still jobless. Again, there is a problem. Though there is a decrease in the employment, still many people are jobless. So author says that we need to take urgent action to boost the number of decent work opportunities, or what will happen, we risk intensified social intention. Now, this is author's perspective. This is author's argument. Now, let's see what is the question. We can say the writer of the sentence is. Option A is indignant. What does it mean by indignant, guys? Let me see your vocabulary. If you know the meaning, please put your answer. Tell me the meaning of indignant. Okay, indignant means, guys, angry. When indignant is used, when you feel that something has happened very unfair, something has happened very unjust is happening. In that case, when you get angry, then we use the word indignant. There is no clue, there is no indication that author is getting angry. He says that we need to take urgent action, and there is no indication something has happened unfair. So we can eliminate option A. Cynical. What does it mean by cynical, guys? Yes. Anyone? Cynical means skeptical, doubtful. Whereas the word skeptical and doubtful is a very mild. Cynical means a person who always doubt upon the people. He feels that if someone is doing something right, he must have some self motive. In every action of the other person, he believes that the other person, he must have some self motive, and that's why he's doing that. So that person is called cynical, very very self obsessed. So there is nothing about cynical over here. We can eliminate. Concerned. It looks nice. That's why he's saying this thing. We need to take urgent action. It looks like he's concerned. Let's keep it by our side. Detached. No, he's not at all detached. If he would have been detached, if the author would have been detached, he would not have said this thing. We need to take urgent action, isn't it? So he is not at all detached. So the answer should be concerned. Right? I hope it is clear to you how to read it. Right? It's not about getting the right answer right now. We are discussing it how to do it. Now, for example, you're doing this paragraph, right? And you don't know the meaning, like you didn't know the meaning of indignant, you didn't know the cynical, which are really very important words from the CAT perspective. Then what are you going to do? You keep, as I told you, you keep one vocabulary notebook or diary with you and just write down the meaning of indignant, that yes, angry, write down the meaning of cynical, skeptical. So you can read those words, you can revise those words every day if you feel, or at the end of the week. I believe that you revise those words every day, because revision will not take much more time, guys. It will take hardly 10 minutes. Prakar, your question is that what is the meaning of detached? Detached means you're not getting attached to something, right? Detached means you don't have emotions. You're not concerned about that. If something is happening bad, I'm not doing anything because it doesn't matter to me. अगर वो मुझे मैटर करता ही नहीं है, that is something doesn't matter to me, that is detached, right? Sometimes we say someone is getting attached, right? So detached is the antonym of concerned, right? Okay, let's move on to the question number 2. It says that leaders have plenty of trouble learning from the lessons of history. So he's talking about leader, and they face trouble. They face a lot of problem when it comes to when they need to learn from the lessons of history. Maybe it is because business and political leaders, right? They are supposed to be looking forward. So he is giving you probable reason that could be one probable reason, right? As Warren Buffett once said. Now, if you pay attention over here, guys. Here, author is presenting someone else's perspective, isn't it? Author is presenting someone else's perspective. So let's see what it says, that it's more important to look out of the windshield than in the rear view mirror. So this particular quote, as it is supporting the previous sentence, that it is more important to look forward rather than back, rather than in the rear view mirror. Rear view mirror, where you have a scene of the back scenario. This is something author is presenting someone else's perspective. But we need to pay attention to the author's perspective. Author says but. Now here, this is a very important word. Whenever we say the word but, yet, moreover, furthermore, these are really very important words. Now you can anticipate what he's going to say. He is going to say something opposite of the previous statement. The author says that, but a few looks in the rear view mirror of history would help leaders who are embroiled in scandals and cover-up. Embroiled means stuck in an unpleasant situation. That's mean embroiled. So this is the author's perspective. This is the author's argument. A few looks. A few means some. So author is suggesting that if they look back, if they learn something from history, right, it is really going to help those leaders who are actually stuck in scandals and cover-ups. So what is the meaning of the sentence given above would be option A. It seems that many leaders have to learn the lesson anew, that the attempt to cover up crime or scandal or misjudgment is often worse than the crime itself. First of all, he is not doing any comparison where he says that it is often worse than the crime itself. Right? Did he do any comparison? No. So we can eliminate this option. very safely. Second option says the more leaders try to distance themselves from what they had done or might have done, the less anyone trusts them. Is author talking about trusting them? No, eliminate. Option C, forgetfulness has been the Achilles heel of countless disgraced political and business leaders. Can you tell me what is the meaning of Achilles heel? Anyone know the meaning of Achilles heel, guys? Achilles heel means your weak point. You're the weakest point. Your weakness. That's the meaning of Achilles heel. Now, again, like if you're reading doing these passages, keep one diary with you and you're going to write the meaning of Achilles heel. Because if I don't know the meaning of Achilles heel, I won't be able to understand the passage. Though here in this option, he's nowhere talking about forgetfulness. So we can, and he's nowhere talking about any weak point. We can eliminate this option. So definitely it has to be the option. A few looks backward may have helped leaders prevent the same mistakes that others have committed. And yes, this is more closest to the meaning of the sentence, which is clearly given to you in the last one. But a few looks is really going to help leaders who have embroiled. This is something is given to you, the same thing. Right? So option D should be the answer. Guys, can you tell me what is the meaning, what is the difference between a few and few? Anyone? A few means some, positive. It's used in a means some. Few means hardly any, no. Or I can say no. So there is a huge difference. It's the opposite. If I say a few looks backward, means we need to look backward. Some looks backward. If I say few, only few means we should not look forward back. No, Prakhar, both are used for countable nouns only. Both are used for countable nouns. The difference is that a few is used for something some positive way, few is used something hardly or no. Same thing with the a little and little. A little is used for some positive, little means hardly any. Same thing. What is the difference? Now here you can say, Prakhar, this is used for countable nouns and this is used for uncountable nouns. So what I'm trying to say, guys, grammar is also important, right? So grammar is also important, vocabulary is also important. So vocabulary, I told you how to enhance your vocabulary. Grammar, obviously, you are going to revise the rules or the chapters that you are going to do or you have done already in the sessions, the grammar sessions. Let's move on to question number 3, guys. Question number 3 is very, very important, very interesting. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Please try this question first on your own and then we'll discuss it. Please try this question. Let's do it. It says that since the beginning of the economic crisis, Greece has been experiencing what it has been experiencing unprecedented levels. Unprecedented means something you have never experienced earlier. So Greece has been experiencing unprecedented levels of what? Unemployment. Second, profound cuts to public budgets. Since when? Since the beginning of economic crisis. This is a broader statement, opening sentence. Now author is getting into specific details. He says that health and welfare sectors. Now he's talking about specific sector that is of public budget, isn't it? Profound cuts to public budgets. So it's going to be a specific over here, health and welfare sectors. They were subject to severe austerity measures, means too much cut, like they're talking about. There were severe austerity measures, means too much cut when it comes to health and welfare sectors, which have endangered provision of as well as access to services, potentially widening health inequality gap. So because there were severe measures they have taken, or there was profound cut when it comes to health and welfare sector, and it leads to potential widening health inequality gap. According to the given paragraph, very important, the cause of widening health inequality gap is there. Why? What's the reason? Economic crisis, okay? Unprecedented levels of unemployment. This is something easy elimination, and I'm glad nobody marked B. Profound cuts to public budgets. Okay. Profound cuts in health and welfare sectors. Now, all the three options look good. You may get confused between these three options. Now, which one is directly related to guys health inequality gap? The directly relation is with the health and welfare sector, right? So the option has to be D, Delhi. Whenever they ask you such questions, you need to find the direct connection with that. Right? I hope it is clear to all of you who have marked option A and C. Shall we move to the next question? Ananya, you have a question. What cuts it's talking about in D? Profound cuts. That is a budget. Profound budget means they have reduced the budget. They have reduced the budget. That is cuts over here. Right? Let's proceed to the question number 4. That we need to infer. Ananya. They will not give you exact wordings always. So we need to see the paragraph. In the paragraph, when they say profound cuts to, here it is given to you, right? Profound cuts to public budgets. Right? So here cuts means talking about the cuts in budgets. Right? So they will not give you exact wordings. They may not mention exact wordings. And second thing is that cuts, when you say cuts in health and welfare sectors, it means only the cuts in budget of those sectors. It means only the cuts. Even if they don't mention, it means only the cuts in the budget of those health and welfare sectors. Right? Let's move on to question number 4. It says that Indian Medical Association President Dr. K.K. Agarwal said that there has been an error of judgment. This is an expression in the case wherein a 22-week premature baby was wrongly declared dead. Now, this is an expression. This is an idiomatic expression, guys. Now, what do you think? What should be the answer? Now, from this question, why I have taken this question, guys? What is the learning thing from over here? They may give you they actually give you a lot of idiomatic expressions in the passage. And they may ask you a question based upon that. Now, if you don't know the exact meaning of that particular expression, sometimes you may not be able to get the meaning of that particular expression based upon the context also. You may get stuck between 2 or 3 options. So you need to enhance your vocabulary as well as the meanings of idiomatic expressions. So when you read on a regular basis, you will come across with a lot of idiomatic expressions. Please make sure you're going to add the meaning or those idiomatic expressions also in your vocabulary notebook, right? So error of judgment means when you make a mistake. So it's not negligence. It's not being above the law. It's making a mistake. It's not even making an unwarranted assumption. So we should know the exact meaning of idiomatic expressions. If I don't know, I may get stuck between 2 options. Right? So no, it's not D option, it's C, making a mistake. Error of judgment means making a mistake. Right? Let's Prakhar, you're trying to say that why we get confused with others, right? You may get if you don't know the exact meaning. If you haven't confused, that's good. But you may get confused if you don't know the exact meaning. Like you may get confused with D option over here, making an unwarranted assumption, right? You may get confused with the gross negligence. So that's why I'm saying you may get confused. So please, you have to enhance your idiomatic expressions also. Let's move on to the question number 5. All is grist. Now, this is something. All is grist that comes to my mill. Smile the unscrupulous investment banker. What is the tone of the statement? Now, here, guys, I should know the meaning of unscrupulous. If I don't know the meaning of unscrupulous, which is an adjective over here, we won't be able to figure out the tone over here. What is the meaning of unscrupulous, guys? Unscrupulous means someone who is not honest, who is corrupt, who is immoral. So it is used in a various ways. It is used in a various context. So here definitely it has to be corrupt or not honest, while the unscrupulous investment banker. Now you tell me, guys, what can be the tone? Can it be a philosophic? No, there is nothing about philosophical because it says mild and unscrupulous. So definitely it can't be unscrupulous, philosophic. Honest means on a serious note. Something is telling you in a very serious note. So there is nothing about that. It says mild, right? Cruel. Accusative. Accusative means where you want to acquire everything like greedy. Which one is the best answers? Cruel or accusative? Yes, it's accusative. Cruel is very negative. Like cruel is like you are hitting somebody, right? You're being very unfair to somebody. Then there is no cruelty. He's trying to say whatever he gets, he uses that. He tried to use that. So it has to be accusative, not cruelty. Let's move on to the question number. So here, what I want you to say, guys, the vocabulary. So you really need to enhance the vocabulary while reading. And believe me, you can enhance the vocabulary while reading if you're going to the same way that I told you. Apart from vocabulary sessions, definitely you must have attended vocabulary or you're going to attend the vocabulary sessions. Let's move to the question number 6. Now, this is very interesting. I want you to try it first on your own. I'm giving you 1 minute, guys. Please try this question first on your own. Let's do it, guys. As I told you, you have to focus upon the author's perspective. You're not going to add your perspective. Let's see. It says that psychologists claim that leading a double life is not as uncommon as you might think. It means it's very common. And further, author is going to say further, and many of us lead very different public and private lives. The phrase double life in the context. Now look at the grammar part. You're using the definite article and context. You know what is the meaning of context over here? Here the sentence, right? Which sentence in this particular sentence? So in this context, in this specific context, what does it mean by double life? Now you're not going to add your meaning of double life. You have to understand the context, and based upon that, you need to put up the answer. Option A says living without boundaries. Easy elimination. There's no talking about any boundaries. B, live a life abounding in material comfort. Abounding means plenty. Now, for example, if this word is new for you, you're going to write this word in your vocabulary notebook. Like this way, you're going to do that. He's nowhere talking about any material comforts and luxuries. Eliminate this option. C, lead to separate and very different lives. Okay. D, appear to be a different person to different individuals. Which one is the closest to the context, guys? It says that many of us lead very different public. This is one kind of life, and private. This is second kind of life. Is he talking about any third kind of life? No. So what should be the answer? Did he say appear to be a different person to different individuals? He is talking about two lives, isn't it? Public lives and private lives. That's it. He didn't say that he is going to be appear a different person to different individuals. He didn't say, right? So yes, it has to be option C, guys. Very important point. He didn't say that you're going to be different person to different individuals. No. What did he say? That he is going to lead very different public and private lives. That is two different lives. Where does appear to be different person, different individuals? It may be like, in a private life, you are being very different to different people. It can be only private life. It can be only public life. In a public life, there are 10 people, and you're trying to be 10 different appearances to 10 different people, right? So here, this idea is not being conveyed as per the passage. It has to be option C, not D. That's why I gave you clue. Focus upon the author's perspective. Don't add your perspective. Is it clear to all of you guys? Why C? Why not D? You have to focus upon the context which is given by the author. Right? Shall we move to the next one then? Yes, let's move to the question number 7. Question number 7, we'll do it later, guys, because you haven't done yet figure of speech, I guess. So once we'll do figure of speech, we'll do that. Question number 8. Basically, you need to find the underlying meaning of the sentence. This is the underlying part, guys. Please try this one. Try to find the answer of this question. Prakar, your question is that there is 2 lives. That's all. No, that is something the author's perspective. We are not going to add our own perspective, right? I understand what you're trying to say, that there are more than 2 lives. You're trying to say, but author is trying to say 2 lead different. That is a public and private. That's it. So we are not supposed to get our perspective. We have to see the author's perspective. So yeah, as per the paragraph, it was only 2 lives. Yeah, please give me answer of question number 8. Okay, so it says that, so I'm getting answer from you. You're giving me answer option D, which is correct also. My question is for you guys, why not option A? She ran 10-kilometer road under 30 minutes. Correct, right? She ran 10-kilometer road under 30 minutes. So why not A? It's correct as per the paragraph. Can you give me the reason why not A? Because in the underlying part, he's trying to say to eclipse her previous record of 30 minutes 4 seconds set in the shell's capital in the April. And this idea is not being conveyed in option A. Now, why I have taken this question, guys? They can ask you in a different way also. They may not underline this particular part. What they may ask you, what is the author's point? What the author wants to convey in this particular passage. Right? So what is the main idea he wants to convey? He doesn't want to say that she ran 10-kilometer road under 30 minutes, though it's correct. What is the author's intention to write this particular paragraph? Though this is also correct, he set a new record for the 10-kilometer run, but that is not the author's intention to say this thing. Right? He created a new world record, no doubt he created it, which is correct as per the paragraph, but that is not the author's intention. He is trying to say she smashed her own record for the 10-kilometer road run. That is the main idea he wants to convey. So here, the very important learning from this question, guys, you may find all the 4 options are correct as per the paragraph, but you need to find that answer choice, that what is the author's intention to read to write the paragraph, right? So this is something you can note it down. You can get all the options correct, which generally happen. You might have experienced that thing, but you need to pick up the answer which is correct as per the author's perspective, and it should answer the question.